Hello, hello, my amazing, beautiful listeners. How are you today? Thank you for joining me. And thank you for those who are leaving reviews. Oh my gosh, it is spreading. We are gaining numbers. And it's just so cool to see women come together and support each other through the experience of divorce after betrayal and or abuse. So thank you to those of you who left a review and sharing your voice. It is spreading and it's working. Awesome. I love it. I love it. All right. Today, I want to talk about how to be good to yourself and why it is so important. Do you find that you're beating yourself up for having stayed maybe, quote, too long in an unhealthy relationship? Is that something that you notice, a thought, that's coming up often? Or perhaps you're beating yourself up for the impact that your divorce or your ex is having on your children. Are you feeling guilt for not knowing what you think you should have known and judging yourself because you feel you should have known better by now or be better by now? Whatever those mean thoughts are that your brain is offering, today I want to offer some thoughts to help you practice being good to yourself. We need to cultivate self compassion as a part of our healing journey. This is being kind to yourself and letting go of that self judgment. It's not ignoring your pain, but being gentle with yourself as you feel the pain. Being good to yourself is moving out of denial and into reality with acceptance and sympathy, kindness and grace. Being good to yourself is not making the human part of your experience mean anything about you intrinsically. Every human experiences pain. Every mortal will have a mortal experience on both sides of the making mistake and suffering from the mistakes of others. When we make those choices of others mean that somehow we're not good enough, less than, or unlovable, that's where I see we get away from our individual worth and value. When we make our choices, perhaps if you're the one who chose to divorce, to not make the decision mean anything about you intrinsically, you are still whole, complete, and enough just as you are. You are experiencing divorce. When you feel negative emotions, approach those parts with that beautiful balance of your sensitivity, your vulnerability, and your intuition. Being good to yourself is not resisting or numbing out to those emotions or believing that they're exaggerated or that you're being too much. Remember, feeling is healing, and those feelings are inside of you, not outside of you, meaning they cannot hurt you and they cannot hurt other people. When you allow those emotions to be there without the judgment, the shame, or the blame, then you gain more clarity and awareness, and you can stay open to those parts of the self that are showing up. And because you are not your brain, you are not your emotions, and you are not your actions, when you feel depressed or angry or anxious, then try to refrain from phrases like, I am anxious, I am depressed. Rather, try practicing, I am experiencing anxiety, I am experiencing depression. Because again, these are parts of you that are showing up for a very good reason. And we're not going to really be able to explore why they're showing up if we're not being good to ourselves, if we're judging, if we're shaming, numbing out, resisting, reacting. Whether you ask for this divorce or not, you are courageous. You have accomplished so much, 1,000 tasks and more to get where you are at right now. And if your brain just told you where you should be other than where you are, just tell it to shh. That was me. You are good to so many people. You are so good to your children. You're probably good to those people who don't even know you and ask you about what happened in the relationship, expecting you to just pour out your guts to them. And you're good and give a good, nice answer and not really say what you want to say, but you're not good to yourself. You are courageous for holding your head up. You are courageous for getting up. You are courageous for trying to make sense of what happened. You are courageous for making hard decisions and hard phone calls and filling out hard, annoying, ridiculous paperwork, and courageous for moving, whether that's your feet or literally having to move somewhere else. Even if it's moving into the middle of the bed. You are brave for breathing. You're often the only one who knows all the things that you accomplish in one day or in one week. You make a to-do list in your head or on paper and you carry around all of your children's to-do lists. You're probably still carrying around your ex-husband's to-do list and still writing his to-do list. There is a lot of energy that you're putting into getting all the things done or making sure other people are getting things done. So who better to give yourself credit and a hug for doing all the things? When you can learn to appreciate yourself and value yourself, it will help you to expect those in your chosen relationship bubble to appreciate and value you. But it has to start with you being good to you first and you valuing yourself first. So the question, how good to yourself are you? Do you allow yourself pleasures for no special reason? Or do you have to somehow justify it or say you got a good deal? Right? I know those of you out there. Well, I got a sale. I got this for myself, but I got a deal. I don't care if you got a deal. Do you love it? And did you get it for you just to be good to yourself? And if being good to yourself is getting it for a deal, then great. Okay. Do you listen to music just to cheer yourself up or dance? How about taking yourself to a favorite restaurant or movie that you've been wanting to see? Or have you ever purchased jammies for yourself or a little nightie and worn that to bed just because it's so comfortable and just feels good on your body? When I was single, I bought myself nicer sheets rather than those cheapest ones I could find. I upgraded and let myself enjoy nice sheets to be good to myself after a really long, hard day's work. How about being good to yourself in touch? Are you kind with your body or are you harsh, rough, or dismissive? Be kind to your physical body in ways that create a more pleasurable experience in your body. And that can be from getting your nails done to taking a bath, putting on smelly good lotion, or taking a nice long walk. Whatever that is, being kind and good to yourself in all ways is so important. When you've been in an abusive, restrictive relationship for a long time, you may have trouble thinking of something to enjoy. If you got married young and had children right away, like I did, you may have not had the opportunity to explore what you like, what you want, or what's pleasurable, or what interests you. Maybe you were told what your interests are or should be, or how your pleasure is really just supposed to be in the pleasure of others. Those of you listening can't see my eye roll. How about hobbies and skills that you've always wanted to develop or experience? It reminds me of a client years ago who was in her late 60s and got divorced and had always wanted to learn how to play the ukulele. And we coached around it and she kind of just brought this up just in passing. She didn't really come with this to get coached around at all. But I brought it up. I was like, well, why haven't you ever played the ukulele? And why can't you now? And then it started to be this thing. Well, anyways, she's always wanted to. She felt like she was too old and couldn't, or too stupid at this point because she made the excuse that her brain wouldn't be able to remember the chords. Well, guess what? That amazing woman actually found someone in her church group who knew how to play and took lessons from her and learned how to play a few of her favorite ukulele songs. It is never too late. The more you are good to yourself and see all that you have done and do, that confidence will start to manifest in your body. When you find yourself becoming braver, you'll be more motivated to consider options of how you can save money for lessons to do something that you've always wanted to do. Watch your brain for how it's going to offer you thoughts like, yes, but dot, dot, dot. And then finishes that sentence with all sorts of reasons why you can't do that thing and why you can't or shouldn't have pleasure in those things, in those areas. I don't have time, energy, money, or the opportunity. When you entertain those thoughts, however, then you really are limiting your brain to recognizing and being aware of any outside opportunity. It almost guarantees that you won't see them. Be good to yourself. So here are a couple things to consider and write in your journal, whatever works for you, but practice this week. Ask yourself, what are some things that I want to experience more of? What enjoyable, pleasurable things do I want more of? What are some enjoyable, pleasurable things that I used to do? Right? Think back on a time maybe before you were even married. So I said it might be a little bit harder if you got married really young, but even then, you had things that you enjoyed. Start there. And then list things that you would like to do that you've never done before. Even if it's something simple and small, like how to stitch paint, hang up a picture by yourself, roller skate. Oh my gosh. One lady in a group of mine said that she yanked out her roller skates after her husband had left and roller skated all through her house after the divorce. And I just freaking loved that idea. Okay, now let's break it down to daily pleasures. So after you take time to answer those questions, now in the morning, what are some enjoyable, pleasurable things that you want to do? What about meditate? What about watering your plants? Sitting out on the back porch with tea or coffee or smoothie and just listen to the air move. What do you want to do that's pleasurable and being good to yourself in the afternoon? What about taking a nap, exercising, making yourself a really yummy lunch, paint by numbers? I don't care. Something that feels pleasurable. Write out what your afternoon looks like. Evening. Is it time to call a friend? Join a support group? Support someone in person? Write in your journal, read, take a walk, take a bath. Write down at least one pleasurable thing you're going to do morning, noon, and evening. Be good to yourself. Why in the world? Like, how in the world can you know what being treated good in a healthy way actually feels like when you don't treat yourself good? It has to start with you. I had a woman share one time that she loves it when she accidentally laughs because she couldn't bring herself to consciously choose to laugh because nothing in her life was funny at the moment. I can totally relate. In fact, I remember while I was still living at my parents' house and some of my siblings were in the living room and one of them did something spontaneously funny and I laughed out loud and I immediately gasped because I had not heard that noise come out of my mouth in, oh my gosh, who knows how long, long enough to have not recognized that sound. Then that made me feel sad and I went upstairs and cried, but still, those spontaneous laughs are great and try to enjoy them when they come. Try to be good to yourself when they come. If it just feels too hard to have joy or find pleasure right now, be good to yourself and keep practicing. Don't judge that you are where you are at. Let yourself be. Keep checking in with yourself. Try on a smile, a giggle, something joyous, one moment at a time. You have done and are doing hard things and have been and are so brave and courageous. You are beautifully and bravely falling apart so that you can lovingly and courageously put yourself back together in the way that you choose, because you are the chooser in your life and you get to choose to have an empowered divorce. Now be good to yourself. See you next time. Hey, did you know that you can join me for a free Q&A the first Thursday of every month? Guess what? That's tonight. So go to the link in the show notes to register for that free link, show up, and you get to ask me all the questions that you might have as you're listening to my podcast. You also get to come and hear other amazing questions, but really feel the support from other women who are going through the same thing. Yes, we all have our own journey, but there's power in numbers. So come join me tonight for the free Q&A. For other ways to work with me and start stepping into your empowered divorce, head over to the show notes as well and check out all the opportunities that I have for you. Take care, everybody.